Good morning, my friend. It is time for your Wednesday Wisdom Wake Up. I'm Wendy from The Way of Truth, here to help you shake up your week, wake up, and integrate some fresh insights and energy into the amazing life you are creating for yourself. And I'm calling today's training Igniting Your Inner Fire to Take Risks and Live Your Courageous Life. Understanding the architecture of motivation has helped millions of people help themselves and then help millions of other people. From inspiration to cultivation to implementation and to the final steps of completion. Motivation is the often overlooked secret ingredient that turns good ideas into spectacular realities. As we move through today's training, you will probably want to take notes so that you can retain as much as possible and then refer back to your discoveries the next time you get stuck. So we'll pause for a moment here. Go ahead and grab a pen and paper or open a new note in your laptop, and I'll just wait for you. Okay, are you ready? Let's get started. In our Wednesday Wisdom Wake Up today, we will examine what motivation looks like for you and how to find the sparks of motivation in any endeavor. If I asked you, what is motivation? You could probably give me a general definition or offer an example of a motivational story. But the most basic definition is quite simply the desire or willingness to do something. I'm sure at some point or another, we've all found the desire or willingness to sit on the couch, eat some ice cream, and binge watch the latest Netflix original series. Finding motivation for easy things is, well, pretty easy. But what happens when you're trying to start a new project and can't seem to find the fire to get going? Where do you begin? When the task at hand isn't immediately pleasurable, how do you find the desire or willingness to press forward into uncharted territory? I mean, you already have a full life with limited time and energy. And now there's something new that you know you should do, but you're not 100% sold on it. In order to find out how to get that fire going, you must first ask yourself a few questions. And as we run through this short list, jot down the first answers that pop up. And I'm going to run through the top 10 universal motivators just to help you get connected with your motivators. So don't think too much. Just go with your gut around these questions. What is most important to you? I'll give you 30 seconds to write your answer. What is most important to you? What inspires you? What do you find yourself drawn to over and over in your life? You see, in order to build up some motivation, you must have a reason for the fire to exist. The flames of motivation don't magically appear out of thin air. Your fire begins with a pre-existing source of heat. You cannot create motivation for something unless you believe in it and find it meaningful. And fortunately, there is an internal drive we all feel. This drive pushes us to do things we want to do beyond our basic needs. It may take the form of a clearly defined goal, such as losing 10 pounds before a friend's wedding, or running a marathon to raise money for cancer research. This drive can also take the form of a general feeling you can't explain, such as the need to work with animals or children, or the desire to travel someplace exotic. You don't quite see the specifics, much less a clearly laid out path, but you feel a subtle pull. This is the seed of your motivation. This internal drive is where that spark is born. Fulfilling those dreams requires action, but there will be no action unless it's driven by the promise of a meaningful outcome. And that brings us to the meat of the matter. How do you find motivation to do the things that don't seem so exciting, especially when the request comes from outside yourself? I mean, for example, you may have a work project that seems super daunting, or an overwhelming list of honey-do home improvements. How do you find the spark to start those things? Well, the first thing to do is to identify how your dreaded activity feeds your core desires. And those things that intrinsically drive you to have threads that run into every area of your life. Perhaps cleaning out the garage is the first step toward building your own photography studio. Perhaps that budget review for work is a great way to refine the skills needed to raise money for African elephant rescue. Whatever endeavor you are facing, it can have far-reaching benefits. And remember, the bigger picture makes it easier to tackle the task at hand. And the second step is just to get started. Often the things you dread actually become enjoyable once you begin. You start to find meaning, you build momentum, and soon you discover motivation that you never knew existed. The more steps you take, the more your intensity grows, and the more sacrifices you are willing to make in order to complete your journey. Action starts a lot of fires. Sure, you may get halfway to your goal and find you want to go a different direction, but that's something you would have never known if you had not started moving at all. Plus, once you're in motion, you start to see how your current endeavors feed your greater desires, and staying on track becomes easier. To summarize, no matter what you're doing, the most potent ways to build initial motivation are to know what matters most to you, remind yourself of how the task serves your core desires, and then start moving. The next step, of course, is keeping the fire going and the fire to take risks. I love this quote. Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Winston Churchill. To move powerfully forward and achieve quantum results, we have to take risks. We must be willing to look at the ways we keep ourselves small and confront the resistance we have to entering the unknown. In other words, we have to do something different. Attaining the next level of success, fulfillment, intimacy, or passion requires us to face our fears and risk appearing foolish, making a mistake, or asking for help. Remember the old saying, well, of course you have to go out on a limb sometimes. That's where the fruit is. If you tend to talk yourself out of taking risks because doing so is scary, just think of the alternative. You could continue to create the same predictable results. Your self-love assignment this week. This week, identify one place in your life where you're not getting the results you desire. Now, maybe it's in your career, in your family, in your health, or in your intimate relationships. Allow yourself to see the approaches you've used to try to achieve your desired results. Now, write down 3 actions you could take that would be outside your usual comfort zone that would produce quantum results. For example, could you ask someone for help? Do you need to hire a coach or put a structure of accountability in place? And then finally, approach 3 people this week whose opinions you respect and ask them how they'd go about achieving your goal. Remember, breakthrough results occur when we're willing to give up the old and embrace the new. This week, exercise your risk-taking muscle. And if you need to talk to a coach, you know how. You go to the wayoftruth.live/10543 and you schedule a free 15-minute laser coaching call with me or one of our excellent coaches on staff. Now, before I send you off on your day, I wanted to let you know about just a very, very special program coming up. Tomorrow, Thursday, 11th, is the final day you can get in on this. So when you enroll in my Summer of Self-Love by tomorrow, July 11th, you receive the 5-month Courageous Love Immersion Program for free as part of your membership. This is an incredible, courageous love immersion based on courage, igniting self-confidence, and overcoming fear by Debbie Ford. In this program, you're going to learn how to transform weakness into strength, insecurity to confidence, and fear to courage as you are led through a proven process and guiding principles to access a new kind of confidence and courage. See yourself and your life in a way that inspires, excites, and exhilarates you. So go to thewayoftruth.live/VYH for a video presentation and registration information. All right, this has been Wendy from The Way of Truth with your Wednesday Wisdom Wake-Up Call. Enjoy your week. Bye for now.